Check 1, 2.
You ready?
Ready.
I sort of am. Hello and welcome to Heather and Hops. My name is Katt and I'm a knitter based in Hertfordshire in the United Kingdom. This is my little space on the internet where I've documented my knitting journey from day one through to now. Throughout this journey I've had the pleasure of making connections and meeting people all across the world. As you might be able to guess, today I am joined by my partner, my husband, the lovely Alex, who has been on here before. But
Hey everyone.
Sam Pilgrim. Just off the bat today I am wearing my By the Campfire, by the Campside cardigan, which is a pattern by Unwind Knitwear, and it was a test knit that I absolutely love. It was knitted in West Yorkshire Spinners Jacob Fleece, which is probably one of my favourite commercial yarns, and I'm wearing my own pattern that was released through Jing Fibre of Dreaming Slow Hat in Drops, I believe it's the same as yours.
Let me check.
And Mohair. You're so good. And Kid Silk Mohair by Drops too. I think that's what it's called from memory. But today we're not here really to talk about myself or my projects. We're here to talk about Alex's projects. You can tell them what you're wearing on your head first.
I'm wearing a lovely hat that Katt knitted for me. Is it the same as this in a different yarn?
So that's slightly different. That is
It's nice chunky.
It's improvised. It's the same yarn, but I held mohair double with it. And yours is a 2x2 rib, and this one it's not. So it's come out quite differently.
And it hasn't left my head for probably 3 months.
Alex actually had to get another hat request in, didn't you?
I did.
Which soon you'll be doing your own.
Yeah.
I hope so anyway.
Add to my hat collection. My ever-growing hat collection.
Yeah, you have a few other hats. Yeah. But Alex has an FO.
I finally finished my jumper. How long has it taken?
I don't think it's taken you as long as you might think.
No.
Oh, we need that done, I think. Yeah. Well, we don't, but... So, Alex did start that in, what, February? Or was it last year?
I think we'll have to look back at an old video.
We will have to check, but you've been knitting it for quite some time.
Yeah.
But it is a pattern that we collaborated on, really. I'll give you that.
Well, I don't know, you wrote the pattern and you did that, but I knitted it all myself.
Alex knitted it, and
the idea to do a raglan jumper was mine also.
Yeah, you knew what you wanted, and we had a jumper that you hadn't worn, and I don't know why you haven't worn it, that orange one. Is it just the material you don't like?
Yeah.
But it fits really nicely, so we used those measurements and sort of transferred it into something more like Alex would wear. And I think I already had some skeins of this Drop Spinde, which...
Yeah, you did. You had a few left over from something. Maybe this hat, actually.
The hat, and also I did a Betty and Judy Lodge sweater, which is a pattern by Poison Girl Knits, Amy Appel. I did a few for Christmas gifts last year, and this was from it, but you actually had to order more. And it's a 65% wool and alpaca blend, and...
It's cheap.
It is very cheap. I don't want to talk about drops too much more. I'm not sure about their ethics, and I keep saying that I want to explore, but it's a really hard thing to get information on. But it is really very good wool for the price, and it does last. It stands the test of time, which is fantastic. But
yeah, it's a step above going down the acrylic route, isn't it?
Massive, yeah. I think for me,
for an affordable jumper that you can do.
Very much so.
Yeah.
I did the ribbing. Alex did do a little bit, but he got a bit fed up. I think he's gonna...
You did the ribbing at the beginning, and then when we got to the cuffs, I think you did do the ribbing as well.
But you can see a little bit at the top where your tension has got. I haven't blocked this vigorously, I blocked it just gently because I only have blocking pins for lace work, which I purchased way before I understood the difference. So I'm always reluctant to firmly block things using them to give pointy shoulders and things. But over time I think this will fade out a little bit. But your knitting has got so neat. If you can go up and show, like on the sleeves, this is basically unblocked.
Bit of fluff on there.
There's always a bit of fluff. It's due to little Audrey, our in-house kitten. Hi Audrey! She's actually just here with us. But you did a really good job on that, and it really didn't take you as long in terms of actual time spent on it.
No. Once I actually did it, I really need like a good Netflix show to watch to get a knitting project done.
And you recently discovered it.
Recently discovered Star Trek Discovery on Netflix, so I managed to get most of this jumper actually done in the last few weeks watching it.
Yeah, you did. Basically the sleeves.
Yeah.
In a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it is a fantastic series. It is. Your knitting is a lot tighter than mine, which we've discovered quite significantly, and that's no bad thing.
Yeah, I used to like to get Katt to do a cheeky row here and there in knitting projects, but now it doesn't work at all because the knitting is so different that you can clearly see it from far away, can't you?
And I do consciously try and be a little bit more...
You actually have to use a different needle size when you do a bit of work on one of my projects.
I had to significantly go down in the ribbing, and I think I did a better job on the cuffs than I did on the bottom, but if it's a bother after a while, I'll unpick it and redo it.
No, that's perfect.
It is cool. How does it feel to have finished a garment?
So it is satisfying. It is a satisfying feeling. Yeah, definitely. And I've got a jumper that I wanted, just a plain black jumper I can wear anywhere.
Little Audrey.
It's not too hot, it's like comfortable. I could wear it, I was going to say for going out, but no one going out anytime soon.
Going out inside, fancy Zoom meetings, Skype chats.
Or I can just wear it. It's like a jumper I can wear every day. Matches all of my clothing.
It does, yeah. I don't often get to do a light wash in this house because Alex's entire wardrobe is near enough black, which is evolving a little bit.
Yeah.
You have some fun coloured socks and slippers. Do you want to show your current whip? Because you can explain why. I've got it here. I've tried to make it organised for you. You can explain why you cast this on.
Do I know why I cast this on? So
Star Trek.
So basically, I just needed, once I'd gone through the feeling of knitting and watching Netflix shows, once my knitting project finished and we still had a bit of the season of the Netflix show to watch, my hands were kind of fidgety. I didn't really know what I was going to do with them, so I persuaded Katt to give me some more yarn. And so another project to work on. I've decided to knit some socks in this really cool colour. I really like it.
So this is Chromatic Yarns. It was a yarn club colourway, and the colourway is called Fluffernutter. And it's on her sturdy sock base, and it's 75% Blue Face Leicester. It is superwash and 25% nylon. But if you don't know Hannah, she runs the Corner of Craft, and she also does very cool beaded stitch markers, and all of her yarn club yarn is based on Critical Role, which if you've been around here for a while, you'll know how much I enjoy. But
so I don't think these socks are going to be for me. I think they're going to be a Christmas present.
That's exciting.
If I can get them done in time for Christmas.
But at the moment you do have more knitting plans-ish.
I do have more knitting plans. But...
And that was one of the questions that was asked.
What are my knitting plans?
Yeah,
So I want to do well, there's a few plans I want to do, but I want to do more jumpers basically. There's a cardigan I've seen which I would really like to do.
I'll try and pop a picture of it.
And I've been really interested in old jumper designs, like the sort of jumpers that kind of sailors used to wear, and like the turn of the century, the kind of Scott of the Arctic kind of vibes.
Been watching and listening predominantly to quite a lot of audiobooks on like adventurers is the best way to describe it. And in regards to my last episode where I shared my sort of knitting journey, I found a book that had basically the jumper that you'd really wanted, but because it's knit flat, we're not sure whether that's something you're going to want to do so early on.
No.
But I might do it for you at some point. But you are very much drawn to an older style, almost like a Gansey style, which I think is quite cool. You are, aren't you? Very much. Even the yarn choices, you've had quite a bit of a hunt, haven't you?
Yeah, I really want to. If any of your people,
Our people.
No, I really want maybe some sort of merino blend, maybe something quite flexible, soft.
You don't want superwash though, really.
I don't want superwash. I want something with quite a good. I want it to be quite ethical. I want provenance. I want to know where it's come from, where the sheep live.
I chatted a little bit with the lovely Angie, who I talk about all the time, about maybe using Peruvian Highland.
Yeah.
She recommended that.
Something like that.
Which is like a half breed of merino with, I can't remember off the top of my head, I think it's Wensleydale, but I'm totally wrong on that.
Yeah, and I don't mind dyed yarn. But I quite like dyed yarn when it's not uniform. So, I don't know the technical term, if it's kind of speckled, mottled. Yeah.
You quite like a tweedy.
Like a tweedy thing,
quite drawn to that, aren't you?
Yeah.
Sort of.
Maybe a bit of the natural fibre showing through. Something like that would be nice.
Yeah, and we've looked at quite a few, and it's very easy to get beyond your price point with it. Yeah. Because it is exciting once you start looking at.
It's also quite tempting to kind of splash out a bit.
Well, you're going to spend a long time with it.
Exactly. And if it's a item of clothing that you look after for life, it's kind of worth it, isn't it? It's not fast fashion, you're not just going to throw it away. I mean, the jumper that we spoke about, that we kind of got the measurements for this jumper from, was one of those cheap, I think it was probably Primark or H&M or something, that I bought years ago when I was probably in London and it got cold and I really needed a jumper quickly, and I think I wore it once and
yeah, it's just been in the wardrobe.
It's not loved, you know, it should probably go to a charity shop.
Actually, I think it has.
Okay. Actually, I think it has, yeah.
Yeah, I think very recently.
So, yeah, I don't mind spending a little bit more money on the yarn if it's going to be something special.
Which is, I think, kind of a good attitude to have. I have recently, and I'll actually share this because it's quite nice to. One of my lovely members of my Discord group, that's really our Discord group. I say my because, but our Discord group, Laura shared this yarn, and as you can see, I've already knitted with it, and I do have a project to share very soon, hopefully. With this yarn, but this is from a company called Woolly Knit, and again, I don't know very much about them and I'd like to do some research, You looking at your hat?
We've got a project we can share right
Yeah,
now.
we do have a project. Alex is excited about this one, but he's not allowed to wear it. But I'm very grateful to Laura for sharing this because it was, well, it's 100% wool. It's British wool. I love the colours personally. This is like, to me, it's very much a heathered version of British Racing Green, which was always one of my favourite colours. And this kind of reminds me of a car that you should have.
Yeah.
I feel like this is your dream colour car.
Yeah.
I don't know. But these run at about £16 for 2,300 metres, which is amazing as far as yarn goes, and it's about 4-ply, held double its DK, and you could hold it triple for sort of an Aran weight. And I did hold it double for that item, which I'll get up and grab.
Do they make that yarn in a DK way?
Yeah, I think so. I think you can get it in DK and Aran weight from memory. This is a hat for Alex. Hopefully it will read okay on here. Yeah, I think that's sort of reading quite close. I actually have to admit, I nearly said must admit again. I have to admit that I started it and did about, 2 centimetres, if that. And I was like, Alex, I'm really sorry, I don't think you're going to like it. And you were like, yeah, persevere, yeah, I like it. And I'm really pleased that
I love it.
Yeah. But this, Alex was very sweet and said that he didn't necessarily need a jumper for Christmas. Even though you didn't get one last year.
Yeah, but you have so many projects that you're knitting for yourself, and then you have so many more projects that you're knitting for other people, which kind of get in the way of the ones you sort of almost need to do. Yeah. So the last thing I want to do is give you more pressure by not making you, but
because I want to.
I really don't want you having to spend too much time knitting a jumper for me though.
But I would very much enjoy it. We know that. So
not when I know you can knock a hat out in a day.
Yeah, it was sort of 24 hours, 48 hours, wasn't it? But that's what you get for playing Dungeons and Dragons. And we actually did our first, again in the, I keep talking about it, but the Discord group, we had our first one shot. So it's going to be more of a 2 or 3 shot, I think, at this point. But there will be groups of us doing it, and it's so much fun playing with friends that you've met from across the world, and it really was across the world, playing as these different characters and knitting at the same time. Poor Mary couldn't knit, which because she was DMing, but it was so much fun. But because I played that for 3 hours or so, it meant that you got a hat out of it. But I'll keep this here actually for you. I think we had some more questions. Are we alright for time? Yeah. Megan asked, or May, I should call her May, really, but how did you start knitting?
Do you know, I did actually try knitting when I was a kid, because my mum was a bit of a knitter.
Hi Mum.
I don't have a particularly good memory of it. I did crochet projects when you were crocheting a few years ago. I did a hat and a couple of hats maybe, and then probably 2 or 3 things I crocheted.
Yeah, you did a few.
Yeah, and then
which are now beer warmers.
Yeah, and then now I don't remember what the first thing I knitted was. Socks.
Was your socks that you wore on our wedding?
Yeah. No, did I not knit a hat?
Yeah. I lie. It was that.
that
hat. That Alex's knitting started quite tightly and then it just got really, really loose. So it sort of looked like a little bulb.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of one of those kind of big bishop hats or something, or maybe what like a pope would wear, or a cardinal. I don't know which one it is, but the kind of domed. Basically it didn't work.
No, but it does keep your beer at a more consistent temperature.
Yeah, so when it's fermenting, it's perfect. And then the first successful knit was really my socks.
Yeah. Which did take you quite some time.
Super comfortable.
Yeah, you like them.
Yeah. Yeah, they're really good.
What else have we got? Oh, do you have a favourite stitch?
Yeah. Can you guess?
Yes, because it's my only choice.
To be honest, I can only knit and purl, basically. Well, you don't call it knit, you call it...
Yeah, you can call it a knit stitch. Or a stocking stitch.
I would call it stockinette, really, would.
Yeah, it depends, because if you're knitting in the round, you constantly knit, but if you're knitting flat to get stockinette, which only shows the knit stitch on the right side, you have to purl.
Yeah. So I don't mind doing different stitches, and I'd quite like to learn more. When it comes to something like knit 2 and then purl 2 and then knit 2 and then purl 2, I kind of can't get into the rhythm of it. My mind will wander a bit, and I'll find when I get back round that I've done a knit and then a purl and then 2 knits and then 3 pearls, and then it just goes out of the window, the rhythm. So
you're a drama.
Yeah, I think it's the slow pacedness of it, plus if I'm watching TV and then maybe some subtitles come on that I have to read quickly. I mean, I can read it as well if I look at it now, but
yeah, you can read it. That's one good thing. You're very good at going.
And I couldn't the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you. I mean, you might have up here somewhere picked up stitches by accident or drop stitches, which actually I haven't had to weave any drop stitches in on this, but as you got further along, you were instantly like, oh no, I'm going to drop a stitch or whatever.
Do you know when if it's not a problem that actually stops the sort of, if it's not a problem of like something that's going to lead it to actually being falling apart, if it's just like a little knot here or there, or like a little wavy line somewhere, I actually quite like it. That's why handmade things are nicer than machine-made things. That's the difference, isn't it?
It's got a character story in it.
Yeah, I don't mind at all if I,
She's
I'm
really
sure there's
good, Alex.
There's not many mistakes.
No, I love how your increases are so neat.
Yeah.
Well, decreases, I should say.
Yeah.
Quickly. Just because we might waffle too much. Well, I say we. I will probably waffle too much. I'm going to refer as Poetic Supermum because I have to say it out loud because it's really fun. Has asked, would you be interested in starting a podcast?
Not a knitting podcast.
No?
Well, I don't really know enough about it, or I didn't
when I started.
I'm quite happy to pop into your podcast now and again and sort of update my journey, so it's there in the ether to look back on for future. And I know maybe some family members might watch this and get a peek into our lives a bit, people we don't see often enough. And but yeah,
could beer?
Yeah, maybe.
Bike?
I thought
drumming?
I've got too many hobbies, basically.
Tea?
Is what you're saying.
Beer?
I probably should do a tea one.
Yeah, Alex is a wealth of knowledge on a lot of things.
Especially tea.
Especially tea.
Yeah.
Would you be interested?
Possibly. I don't think I have enough time. I see it takes you so long to. It's basically a whole day to get a video up, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's amazing how a 30-minute video can, especially when it all goes wrong and the audio doesn't go up.
That was the one time. No, I don't know why YouTube chewed that up. Really,
Yeah.
It's a bit of a shame, but it was a little bit of sadness at the time. But it doesn't really matter. Got some very kind people that have still enjoyed the episode.
You got more questions?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh, Natalie, we've already answered what your next project is going to be. It's going to be a ribbed jumper.
I think that is, yeah, there's sort of three things that I liked. There was that cardigan, which was really nice. And I kind of like those kind of roll neck sort of explorer jumpers. But I think the best versions of them are kind of cabled, aren't they? And
Cabled or
it's more like something I'm gonna commission you to make for me at some point. But there is just a clothing company, just a machine-made clothing company that does quite aesthetically pleasing.
I think they're fairly
jumpers that I quite like the look of, so I want to kind of recreate that sort of style of jumper for myself. I think that's one really good thing about knitting, when you can see something, an item of clothing, and sort of almost be your own 3D printer and kind of create it out of, you can just,
yeah,
that's a kind of level of knitting that would be amazing to get to, where you can look at a garment,
not mohair,
and then just create it from your mind with some sticks and some yarn. That's quite amazing, isn't it?
You definitely could, with not much learning.
Well, with your help, I will.
And Liz, I always pronounce it wrong. Liz has asked, do you have a dream project? And I guess that sort of ties in with your sailor jumper in a way.
No.
No? Okay, no.
I want a onesie with a hood.
You have said that. You actually do. I would love to provide that.
I don't think there's enough knitted hoodies out there. I've never seen one in the flesh.
Do you know what? There's been a lot of patterns on Ravelry
Really?
come up. Yeah, there's one that's on our Discord group that gets shared probably once a week, with people either having knitted it or just saying how cool it is again. It's a bear one, and it's got little bear ears and little bears around the bottom.
I think day to day, when I don't have to kind of wear anything particular for work or whatever, I basically live in hoodies.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense for me to have a homemade one. Yeah.
Well, there's patterns, so if that's something.
Yeah. Maybe that would be a nice dream project.
Dream project. Hoodie.
Yeah.
With a pocket.
Definitely with a big front pocket that you can get your arm all the way through. Because when you go to the shops and you forget to take a bag, sometimes you can kind of fill it up like a kangaroo pouch.
You come home.
It's amazing what you can fit into their pockets sometimes.
You might need to reinforce your knitted one. That's interesting. That's something that I didn't really... You'd said it in passing, but I didn't really know.
Yeah. Or, I mean, trousers, like jogging bottoms, they don't seem to exist very often in knitting.
Yeah, there's a few good patterns for trousers, and I have said since I got my knitting machine that that's a dream thing that I would love to do.
It would be crazy warm, but imagine like a mohair, like jogging bottoms.
Don't. Don't. If I had the yarn, I would definitely do it.
It would be a long old time knitting that, wouldn't it?
No, not with the level of love of enjoying them.
Yeah.
See me in a week.
What's your dream knitting project? Have you covered this on an episode? I'm sure you have.
I don't know if I have. But I do have one, and it's not, I don't think it's the most wild, really. But I would really like to go to a farm, having met the sheep. Or goats. Sheared them. So I guess I'm one step there.
Yeah.
Spun it myself, though. Potentially dyed it, probably not dye it myself.
Yeah, dye it.
I don't know.
You could forage for some herbs to create the dye.
I just really
do the
like...
whole thing from start to finish.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily know that it would need to be dyed. Obviously, we'll see what it looks like.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if it ever happens. And then knit it after maybe coming up with the pattern myself, and then go back to the sheep, maybe make the sheep's owner a little something to wear. I keep thinking about making the sheep something to wear, but doesn't need something to wear because it grows its own outfit to wear. But that's my dream.
Yeah.
Like it really
That
is.
can definitely be done, possibly by next year, I think.
I don't think so. I don't know enough about spinning. I don't have the skill, and I'm sure, and I'm not trying to say it because I think that I should purchase equipment, because I really don't. But I think I would very much prefer using a spindle rather than a drop spindle to spin. So something either treadle, so like a manual one with a foot pedal, or an ace spinner where it's electric and it spins itself. But I think the rhythm of that would be much better for me. But
Okay, so what we need to do is learn how to build one out of wood.
I think lovely Steph, who I do mention every now and then quite a bit, Woollen Wytch, actually has a blog post on it.
Oh really?
Yeah, if you want to get creative, darling, I would be really, really grateful for you to get creative. I'm on a normal road. But there's a couple more questions. Marta asks, do you think Katt may love mohair goats more than she loves you?
I mean, potentially.
Oh,
No. Maybe that one in particular with the tongue.
Isadora.
Yeah.
I do love Isadora, but
You can insert a picture at this time, which you missed off your previous one. Right, here.
okay, you can check this one for me. And I think this is the last one that's got in time, so to speak, because we did say we'd do this really spare at the moment. If you can only buy one packet of biscuits to share, what do you go with?
One packet of biscuits.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say,
Oh, Nobly.
yeah, Oat Nobblies. Oat
Oh,
Nobblies.
Nobly's.
I was trying to think of what they were called.
Okay, I'm pleased that you said
I
that.
couldn't remember the name.
So they're,
Fake hobnobs, basically.
but tastier, less
I'm sure
I'm
they'd
sure.
be made in the same factory.
probably are, but the fact that they're not owned by McVitie's, even though Morrison's might not be any better.
Oh no. To be
Yeah.
honest, your homemade Anzac biscuits that you used to make when you were a baker,
I still made them. I've made some here, but we have been here.
they
for
were
3
good.
years. They were, yeah. Maybe we should do that
Yeah.
soon. Can we? But yeah, I think they're the biscuits that we opt for. They're good,
Yeah.
good tea biscuits. Decent with a coffee.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think that's it.
That's it. Questions completed.
Tick. You've been a good.
Thank
Good.
you.
You've been a great co-host, star,
Stuff.
star.
Alright. Before you said staff.
Yeah, we were maybe going to talk a little bit about just copyright, just because it came up in conversation when we did have quite an interesting conversation about it. But I think we've done quite a lot of talking.
Oh yeah.
So we've
We can talk more if you like.
done it.
I've got nowhere to go right now. We're locked down. I've got my knitting.
Yeah, I guess I was going to say you do have probably some Star Trek to watch. But
Yeah.
I don't know that I've got enough. I've got any more talking in me, if I'm honest.
Okay.
No bad thing, but I've done quite a lot of talking today actually, which has just been quite overwhelming given how little I usually spend. I haven't spent time with people today, but I've been doing a lot of talking anyway, even Zoom and Skype calls, which is unusual, but just means that I'm a little bit ready for Netflix and chill. I think that's what the cool knitters say.
Knitflix.
Knitflix and chill. Yeah.
Of course they do.
I think so. Anyway, I do really hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you would like to hear us maybe sit and chat again and talk about copyright, see if Alex can do some more.
That sounds so specific.
Yeah, it does. Well, we don't have to talk about that. Anything.
Oh, we did. We were discussing it
But
just
we
before.
did.
Yeah.
It was quite interesting.
Yeah.
Alex has got quite interesting thoughts and quite good, a lot better at explaining things than I am.
I wouldn't say that.
Well, I feel like you get across more what you mean when you say it. I feel like, if I'm honest, I have to say things 2 or 3 times before it comes out the way I mean, more so. And like that goes with teaching or just expressing feelings. So, whereas you're a little bit better on the first round. But yeah, if you have any questions that you'd like to ask Alex, feel free to put them down below. I will either do my best to share them via Instagram or respond to them, or another video perhaps. Yeah. So, do you have something to say?
See you all again when I finish my socks.
So, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you have a lovely week no matter what you're up to. I hope that you are remembering to check in with one another, no matter who those people are to you. Do take a moment to check in, because it's been a wild few weeks. I know that there's some people that could probably do with a hug that are unable to get a hug right now. So if you can hug your significant other or non-significant other or anyone that you're allowed to, make sure you take the opportunity to while you can. Sending you a lot of love, and don't forget, as Mark Master would say, don't forget to love each other. See you soon.